taught to make sure that we don't get raped. We don't get assaulted. These guys who genuinely believe they're nice guys. They think they really understand women. They know how to respect women, etc., etc. But they don't. They're pretty clueless about how little they know. I was warned about the roadside Romeos. Yeah, I was not warned about the guys who wear suits. I mean,
Disha has written a best-selling book named The Rape Trial. In India, when we talk about rape, we have layers of prejudice attached to it. When it comes to rape trial, we have studies that rape trial is more about victim shaming than about the justice. Vidisha has written a book where she explores a different side of rape trial, and we will be talking about her book and her journey with this book. Thank you so much, Vidisha, for joining in.
Hi, Drishti. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure having this conversation with you. Yeah.
Vidisha, the more I read about your book, the more understanding that I have of it. For me, I understand when you're talking about the rape trial, you're not just talking about the being in the court and the procedure of it. You're talking about the trial that happens in the society as well. So before we start, talking about the characters and what you have written in the book and what's the concept, just tell me something. Why you decided to write on a topic like rape, and especially when you know that when you hear rape, so much more that comes with it. Rape society is something you don't want to talk, you don't want to address. Why you decided to write on rape particularly?
Well, actually, the answer is in your question. It's precisely because people don't want to talk about it. It's because it's taboo. But it's such a, it's such a, it's an act that really affects our lives. Like every girl kind of lives with this threat of rape, and from the time when we're young, we're taught to make sure that we don't get raped. We don't get assaulted, we don't get molested, and so much of our lives, so many parts of our lives, of our personalities depend on this. We kind of have this, it's done to us at such a young age that as we grow older we don't realize we're doing it. We run on it on auto. But it's really from the time when we wake up and we're like, okay, what are we going to wear today to office? What are we going to wear today for this party or for this lunch? It's really about making sure that we don't attract this guy, this strange, random guy who might, oh my god, might attack us in some way or the other and it'll always be our fault. So that's why I wrote about it. That's exactly why. And it's still taboo today. People still don't want to really talk about it or acknowledge it. And the discourse is there. It has picked up a lot. It has been picking up since Nirbhaya. But the conversation is still very kind of like, oh, let's avoid it. Oh, women are still, they're still exaggerating. It's not that big a deal. Women can deal with it. Like that kind of an attitude is still there.
Strange it is, when we look at your book, when I'm reading it, most of the characters, they're so-called modern, and they're well aware. They come from families where women are independent, and they are more educated. But in reality, when we talk about rape, that happens in the majority. It's not as it's as not simple to understand. It's the reality is even more brutal than the what the book talks about. First of all, tell me something. Why you decided to make it an issue where we talk about a modern educated people talking about rape and taking rape. Your book explores that side of the story.
Write authentically about a village girl, a village man, a village woman. I cannot write authentically about them. Not that because one of my characters is uber rich, and not that I'm from that class either. But it was somehow easier. I didn't explore her wealth either, but it was easier to depict that lifestyle than to go into a village lifestyle, a village setting. That is one thing. That's something very basic. You have to write about what you know, because you don't want to come across as disingenuous, as trying too hard, as a little. I don't want to use the word fake, but a little fake. You know. uh, the second thing is that when you as you grow up, this whole protecting teaching your girls about not being molested always comes from this angle of men who are of a lower class or a
Yes.
lower caste than you. I mean, I it's funny because I was just thinking about this 5 minutes before this call. um
Mm.
I was warned about the roadside Romeos. Yeah, I was not warned about the guys who wear suits. I mean,
Yes.
I was told by the women in my family, these guys, these boys, you have to be careful about them. But I had to learn on my own that the men who are like me are also very molesty or assaulty or whatever, you know? So we need to understand it. The men who rape, they're not aliens. They're not like some far off people
Mm.
or anything like that. They're one of us. So I think someone recently pointed out to me that there's a statistic. I'm not really sure where the statistic has come
Mm.
from,
Mm.
but apparently 94% of women are raped by men they know. So it could be someone, it could be a village girl, but it's also us, you know?
Definitely.
So,
Mm. Definitely. I think when we talk about rape, somehow we have the stereotype that it happens in some slums. It happening. It's happening.
yeah,
It's done by people who are not educated. The problem
yes,
is, Abhidisha, your book explored a very small section of the society. And how
yes,
ironic, we believe that, in that section women are more empowered because, they are educated, they have resources. And then in your book, there's a talk about, how victim shaming is very much prevalent, and how Avni, the victim is made to believe that she is the one who has committed a crime rather than Rahul who is,
yeah.
set free. So it's also about the the justice system as well as in the society. How we take women who come out and speak about rape. So what on
Yeah.
that? What characters you think define Avni and Rahul? What are the characteristics that you feel were important for you to highlight when you were writing this book?
Actually, the one thing that was very important for me was to show Avni's family is completely supporting her.
Okay.
So Avni actually does not make an appearance in the story until the last page of the book, because basically by the time the story starts, she has been attacked. She has gone through her trial. Rahul, her rapist, has
One. Yes. Yes.
got himself vindicated, and now he's a men's right activist. So, but it was very important for me to highlight that her families do support her. They
Hmm.
believed her. I
Hmm.
think as survivors, we really, we've already gone through a lot,
Hmm.
having gone through this act of rape. But now to have people not believe us, to have to convince people that look, this has happened to us, that is a huge punishment. So Avni, and I don't believe it is normal for people to not believe their own daughter. It is not normal for people to not believe their own sister, their own niece, their own cousin. It was very important for me to show that her parents believed her. It was very important for me to show that she did go to court,
Yes.
because a lot of right now a big reason people give to not believe women is that, oh, why didn't she go to court? Okay, now that it's easy to go to court, not in any way is it easy to go to court, but she had her support. She went to court. She took that path, and it didn't work out for her. So now what? And for Rahul, it was very important for me to show that he. I deliberately chose the name Rahul actually because
You
I
know.
mean, growing up like in the 90s, I think that was the last romantic hero ever, Shah Rukh Khan as Rahul.
Hmm.
So yeah, so he's that guy whom you would never look at and think, okay, he might assault someone.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean that he wouldn't. Like I've heard people say things like, oh, but he doesn't look like that. How is someone supposed to look?
Look.
How is the rapist supposed to look? That's where
Okay.
that whole caste and class thing comes in already, because you're already told, okay, somebody who's dirtier, smellier, it doesn't have a proper house. They are the ones who do it. It has not gone to a proper school. They are the ones who do it.
Another aspect of your book was the friends. That revolved on three friends who were going through a trial on their own. Uh,
Yes.
what was your idea behind showing these friends and their feelings regarding their friend who they didn't believe at first, and what was your understanding of the society? What part of society you were trying to reflect through these friends? Because every character has a sense of belonging to some aspect of the society, where it's Rahul, or when it comes to the guy who's handling the case. Everybody has some sense
Yeah.
of belonging. You can understand where they're coming from.
The biggest conflict amongst the three girls, the three main protagonists, Ria, Amruta, and Hitaishi. Ria was the one who was in the position of most conflict because she was very close to Rahul's parents. And at the time, she knew Avni as well, but because she owed Rahul's parents had stuck by her through thick and thin through various difficult situations. So when Avni had actually come out to accuse Rahul, Ria realized she can't support her
Yeah.
his parents. She can't turn around to his parents and take whatever she has taken from them. She after that she can't turn around and say no. Look, I'm not going to support you through your worst time.
Hmm.
So she did what a lot of us actually do. I mean, if I think about it, if my family friend's son gets
Hmm.
accused,
Hmm.
how am I supposed to actually stand up and say, no, I believe the girl? It's going to be very difficult for me to do that,
Hmm.
and forget family friends. If my neighbor's son gets accused, I'm going to do what I showed Ria doing. Like,
Hmm.
she basically told herself, no, I don't really know it.
Hmm.
And we all do this. We all do this. We all tell ourselves, no, I don't really know it. You
Yeah.
know,
You don't want
it's
to
like
accept.
how
Yes.
you don't want to accept it, and because you want to be able to sleep at night, you just tell yourself, yeah, maybe it's just not true. I don't know. Taishi is the angry one, the one who's always angry. She's always fighting with people verbally, but she's not in a position to actually go out and do anything about it. So she's also somebody I see a lot. In fact, I used to be one of those people. I used to like to have these fights in my living room and in somebody else's living room in some coffee shop. And at the end of the day, you're just exhausted and nothing has really happened. So that's Hitaishi. And Amruta is the person I don't know at all. She's the one who won't talk, but she will go and do whatever she feels is right. So I don't know. Actually, I don't know Amrit. I don't know an Amrita.
Look at the stats, we understand, that even in India, only 1% of the cases, sexual violence cases are reported. And in that
Yeah.
1% where we hear these stories a lot. Victim shaming is something that comes along with it when you report a case. You have to prove continuously. And the harsh reality is, because I'm writing a paper on media coverage on rape. Um, when you go through it, you look at the stats and you understand, that victim comes to the trial way more often, than the convict. So the
Yes.
society, we cannot ignore the fact that our society has still made it really hard for us to even get justice. Reporting is one challenge. Going out and saying, okay, this has happened. Getting justice is another altogether another ball game, another fight that you have to
Yes.
go through. And your book, when you share a story of privileged women, and men
Hmm.
coming together and being part of a brutal system, where women are put on trial, for their
Hmm.
and victimized. So this is another aspect. I think, Vidisha, with this, congratulations first of all for your book, and it's doing amazing, and I hope you continue writing. What else you feel that with this, what message you want to really go pass on to the audience who's listening to you right now?
I think the most important thing is to, I have actually two different messages for men and for women because we're not in the same boat at all. Even if you want to say, oh, men get harassed too, their situation, the reactions they get, the circumstances are different from women getting harassed. Uh, First of all, women really need to come into their own. They need to be. It's fine to be. You need financial independence, but you also need mental and emotional independence. You need to be able to lose friends. You need to be able to upset your parents, upset whoever you think you whose approval you need of just to be.
Hmm.
You need to be comfortable speaking your own truth. We keep saying that we don't know what women want, we don't know what women go through, etc., etc. No one's going to actually want us to speak up, but we have to speak up, and we have to keep speaking even when we're upsetting the people around us. you
True.
know and you need to know your own truth. I You might be gaslighted, but you need to understand that your truth is valid, and your truth, your experience is absolutely correct. You need to speak to other women also for this. Then you know you are not alone. I think one of the biggest problems we all have, especially even I've gone through growing up, you think you're the only one it's happening to because there's so much silence around it. That
Hmm.
silence has been broken to a large extent. Thank God.
Yes.
So you know that this is not your own experience, this is a shared experience. So
Hmm.
you need to talk to them, talk to each other a lot more,
Hmm.
and be angry, please. Be angry. You don't have to be okay with whatever's happening. You can please be angry. Show that you're angry. Show that you're bitter about what has happened. There are a lot of older women whose time has passed. They don't have the chances that a college going woman or a woman in her late 20s or early 30s still have. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of bitterness. Please just accept that you've lost out on a lot because of a certain system, and just be. It's all right. Your
It's okay to
bitterness
be
is
angry.
completely
It's
valid.
okay to, talk
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
For the men, Vidisha.
Yeah, and the men, honestly, it's the same age old advice. Please listen to women. Really listen to them. And understand that you don't know what is happening. Like there are a lot of this. There are a lot of these guys who genuinely believe they're nice guys. They
Hmm.
think they really understand women. They know how to respect women, etc., etc. But they don't. They're pretty clueless about how little they know.
You said, Vidisha. I think listening to you, we have an understanding, that why you chose this particular topic, and I think more dialogue needs to be there. After 2014, things has changed. People have started
Yeah,
coming out. The media has started talking about rape. Now the taboo attached to it, slightly getting broken. But still, there's so much that we need to do as a society. Talking to you, talking about your book, and lot congratulations. I really looking forward more reading more from you. There's a disturbance out there, so I think we have to cut the call very soon.
okay,
But
okay.
it was great, Vidisha, talking to you, and I'm looking forward for
It's
more talks
lovely to talk
in
to
the
you.
future.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Vidisha.